Hello and welcome to another Warhammer Wednesday. As you can see, I've now finished the body part of the Imperial Knight Titan. It's best to not glue it to the legs and just have it movable for a while, just while you're getting the pose right. And I wouldn't glue it to the legs like I have done until you've finished the arms, which I've done. They're to the side, but essentially it's quite easy part to construct. You have to just glue the exhaust pipes, glue the shoulder attachment assembly areas. Important not to glue the stub gun or the heavy stubber, whatever you want to call it. Don't glue the face or the head there, and don't glue the ability to move the shield. Glue the shield on, but obviously that's the Forge World one. It makes no difference. If you see some of these pieces as a lighter grey of a plastic, that's just the Forge World resin. What I would do is completely glue this body section. Don't glue it to the legs just yet until you've glued the arms. And speaking of the arms, here's kind of what I did earlier. I haven't really done a step-by-step because depending on what weapon you go for, the steps are pretty straightforward. This is the gun arm I've decided to use, which is the rapid-firing battle cannon. I haven't really added anything other than some purity seals. Don't glue anything on here at all, even the pistons. Make sure everything moves about, because this is what you'll be attaching to the right arm of your Titan to decide on the final pose. So I did that. You can choose the other weapon, the thermal cannon, if you wish, but it's important not to glue it. The other arm, this is another one I made earlier, the Reaper Chainsword, or whatever it's called. Again, don't glue anything on it, and again, that's going to be vital for the pose that you choose too. Now, once you've got both of those set up and you've glued all the little fiddly bits on the carapace armour, which is what I've kind of labelled that as, don't glue the armour. It's important to try and glue as minimal things as possible. What I would do is I would leave the arms off separate too, just for a while, and put the carapace on, attach the arms like so, and then if you're like me and you make a model that's in one pose, such as this Knight Titan, and you have it glued and it's all finished, then you want to be setting that pose at the very last stages. With this current one, he can move about his weapons and things, and not long ago his torso actually moved. With his feet position, he's more kind of centralised this time, so I've still got these ready, and he might be pointing forward like so, with the weapon like that, seeing as he is going to be the main one, the seneschal or whatever you want to call it, out of these. But bear in mind, it's completely up to you how you pose your models. But I've also got another Knight Titan that's pointing with his chainsaw already, so it's a little bit like you don't want to repeat too many of the poses if you can, but likewise you don't want to be silly and do a pose like this or like that. I mean, yeah. So I mean, you can by all means just leave them movable if you so wish, but the Reaper Chainsword is either down or it's just down all the time. That might affect your posability, really. But yeah, so finish the Reaper Chainsword, and then once you've got both those weapon arms there and they're on the model, I then figure out what kind of pose is going to happen, and then I move the torso and glue it to the legs. That's all I do. And now, essentially, it's ready to be sprayed. So the arms you can just take off, and you can work on these individually. That's fine. You can work on the top armour individually. I've still got all of these parts still, which are which are ready. All of these parts are ready to be sprayed and painted, and that is kind of what you're left with once you've assembled everything. Now, just imagine the body not being glued onto the legs. What I would do is I would just play around with the position of the whole body and the arms, and eventually settle on a pose. The pose I've gone for with this Knight Titan is, I think I've gone for either that kind of pose where he's kind of like ready. I didn't really want to do like a forward, you know, kind of charge pose like that. I still might do that, but I do have another Knight Titan which has got a pose similar to kind of that. It's up to you, the look and feel of your army, the way you're going to do this. But I try and make each model very different if I can, if it's within my grasp to do that. And I've got another model that likewise is turning his head and firing his thermal cannon like that. So it's important not to have two. For a model this big, people will easily see if you've kind of copied poses and things. So I might just go for a standard basic pose. Who knows? But if you don't have the body glued onto the legs, and you don't glue the arms and the head and the shield and the heavy stubber, that's an excellent move right there, because it gives you so many options to move. Unfortunately, the legs aren't really that poseable without a lot of cutting and pasting and green stuff, and you know, you can't really bend the legs. There's pretty much one pose out of the box, that is. So I would try and not glue as much of these top pieces, so you've got that freedom of choice of poses. So once you kind of decided on that, you don't really need to do anything with these extra bits yet. You don't need to glue them on or anything like that. What you then need to do is, obviously, if you've watched the start of my part guides, you would have washed these and got the releasing agent off, so they're kind of ready. At this stage, you're pretty much ready to spray. Now, what I would do is I would take this off, of course, take the arms off, and just spray this completely separate. Just spray the body and the legs completely separately. Spray this whole thing. Before I would do that though, it depends on your base, how you do your bases, but you can add parts to your base at this point. What I might do is just add a load of sand with PVA glue, leave that to dry overnight if I can. That's probably the best with bases, and the time between gluing them with PVA glue and the sand setting overnight is ample time. If you're going to leave it an hour or two, it might still be a bit wet, put it that way. So best bet is to glue your base, leave that to dry overnight, and then it's ready to spray. Spray the whole thing, spray all of the individual parts. It's up to you what spray you use. I personally use the Citadel Chaos Black. You might want to use Army Painter's the grey paint that they've got. It's really up to you. It depends on your preference for that. But I use Chaos Black on all my models, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to do the base and show you that. What I would do now as the final step is, if you've got a little brush or something like that, like a little Games Workshop plastic brush, now is the best time to get rid of all your mould lines, or even chop your mould lines so that they're not easily seen, and just give it a bit of brush, either to get the dust off or to get some of that filed plastic dust out the way. And then once that's done and it's completely ready, you're then going to spray it. It's best to put one thin layer of coat on, let it dry. If there are any other areas after it's dried for half an hour or an hour, depending on the weather, give it another coat. Okay, so just a quick one before the ending kind of message. What I've done is I've based the model, just quite a simple sand base. I don't think you can get this sand from Games Workshop anymore, so it's quite an old sand, but I did have a surplus of it at some stage. What I would also suggest you do is, so that the model doesn't look like sinking, I would try and scrape off some of the sand near his feet, just using a brush or something, just to dab it down so it doesn't look like he's sinking in mud, and that's usually a good tip. All I did was just use a bit of sand and some PVA, and it's drying now. I won't spray this until the next video. The next video you'll see it completely sprayed, all the components, and you'll see me start to take all the steps to undercoat the model. So this is kind of like the final part of this part 3. So I hope you found some of this video useful. So it's kind of a little bonus to the end of this video. I just wanted to show you some of the spare parts that you're going to be left with on this model. Obviously I'm using Forge World's Tehran armour pads, shoulder pads, so for me these are going to be separate. Again, the torso armour, or this part is probably the chest piece actually. That's going to be spare, the plastic version. You're going to have a spare groin banner, or whatever you want to call it, which is, here. You're going to have top hatch that's spare. You're going to have a couple of helmets or face armour. They're going to be spare. Depending on what weapon you use, you're going to have the kind of end barrel to that. Don't know if you can ever use that for anything. I suppose you could put it on a base or whatever, make it part of making a base. You could do that. So yeah, and you'll also have some, like the houses. You'll have that separate. You'll have a load of these purity seals too, that are separate. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to put a few purity seals on, just as a last thing, and just give it a bit more character, so that he's identifiable as the main one out of the 3. But yeah, just a little extra to show you the spare parts. In part 4, you'll see me actually start painting it. You've got that to look forward to. So that'll be part 4, and you'll see me painting it. I'll go through kind of the basic steps. I'll try and paint all of the basic things in part 4, and then part 5 will be highlighting, detailing, and just finishing up. So I've given you a 5-part guide of how I create my Imperial Knight Titan. Anyway, thanks ever so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching, and you've got another video to look forward to next week. Thanks for watching. The Emperor Protects.